Shalom, shalom. This is Kabaya, aka Pops out of GMS Chicago, with another sit down. Before I get started, though, I want to put this disclaimer on this. So give me a second and put this on here. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, I believe that is, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay? Okay, so now we're back here. And the reason that I said that is because this gentleman here, Your Black World, he's got 413 subscribers, and I'm not trying to infringe upon him being able to make his money in any kind of way, and I'm not using his footage in any kind of way to profit myself in any way. This is just to bring attention to the fact that I had already did something along this quite some time back. When it first jumped off, when it first happened, and Nick Cannon came back and started talking about how, he had a Jewish priest on his mom's side, great-grandfather or something, blah, 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 ish. Have an ish in his family and the whole deal. He kept apologizing. And he was talking all that junk about him being a boss and he created his show and all this other kind of stuff, but they basically stripped him of it and took it from him. Okay, so, Buck Broken, yeah, perfect title. And I went into those things as well, and I used some of the illustrations of Vin Rames and Pulp Fiction and all these other things. So this guy goes in pretty good. I recommend that you go in and check it out. He doesn't have the truth, and there's no way I sat through an hour and 18 minutes of this whole thing. But there's a bit and pieces of it that I'm going to let play, and this, that, and other. So I'm gonna let some of this play. Actually, I don't think I need to. So I mean, if I'm infringed on it because of the imagery, then fine, it is what it is. But this is that. So it says, was he buck broken? Sure, he was. Why? Because when he spoke and went on and talked with Griff about the scenarios and the things of being an Israelite or Israelite stature and things of this nature, you knew he was dig. If you knew anything about the powers that be and this, that, and other, you knew he was digging a hole. And this gentleman here that did this actually says something along that line. So let me see if I can find just that part of it. Let me see.
This involved the slave owner forcing the enslaved man to lower his pants and bend over a tree stump to ensure that his buttocks were propped up in the air. The enslaved man would then be flogged severely. This would weaken him so that he would not be able to resist the rape that followed. The white slave owner would then proceed to rape the slave several times. This form of punishment was worsened by the fact that it could be done in full view of all the other enslaved people, including the slave's family and friends.
And that's all true. That is exactly what buck broken is. And these guys want to walk around here and sag their pants and do all this other kind of stuff, sag their pants, skinny jeans, and all these other kinds of things in the process of, don't realize, they think it goes back to a jailhouse fashion. No, it goes back past that. Okay, and was Nick Cannon buck broken? Sure he was. Why? Because of show wilding out that he thought was his. They twisted him. The same way Dave Chappelle thought he had a show, made $500 million, and the boys stepped up and offered him 50 million. And then when he didn't go for that, how they wanted to, how they castrated him, said that he was crazy and all these other kinds of things. And even to this day, I don't think that Dave Chappelle is the real Dave Chappelle because he was slim and this, that, and other. And this guy is like not a absolute dead ringer knockoff of the original Dave Chappelle. Okay, tell you the truth about it. So now, with all these things having been said, was Nick Cannon buck broken? Sure he was. Sure he was. Okay, but I still want to find that part where speaking against the powers that be is that. So let me see if I can go a little bit further in and see if I can find it.
Never repay. They'll give you preparations for slavery when you go begging that white man's business for a job when you need to be creating businesses of your own. So you're getting preparations for slavery, but you can't fight for reparations for slavery when you have been fully indoctrinated in your preparations for slavery. So that's it, period. T, what are your thoughts?
I totally agree, and I'm so glad you brought up Ice Cube because the thing is, because Ice Cube is a self-made man and he owns his own businesses and makes his own.
Negative. How can he might have a little bit more control over some things in the process, but he's not self-made. Don't believe that. Don't believe that. Okay, he's part of the industry, and the same way, um, um, the IRS went after Wesley Snipes and these types of things, and whatever it was that he did back in those days to come up. Uh, no, no, you don't get a chance to dance in them circles like that without paying that price. Okay, you know, Cat Williams was another one that they came after and twisted. Okay, so there's always a repercussion behind it, and you never heard of Ice Cube going through those things. See, Cat Williams, I would consider Cat Williams probably more self-made than Ice Cube. Why? Because Ice Cube never hit that. Cat Williams came out and talked about it and told on it, and in return, they tried to crack him, and he went through his shit and these types of things. But because he told what he told and did what he did and went through it and endured it. Like I said, the people kept him in the position. Why? Because his shows are constantly sold out. Okay, Ice Cube wasn't touring; he was making movies and these types of things, and people was going to see his movies and that type of stuff. Okay, no denying that part of it. But you can't get the distributorship and things of this nature is a little bit different scenario. Okay, so and he played inside them lines and whatnot with Dre them and whatnot at some point in time or another. But anyway, was Nick Cannon buck broken? Sure he was. And the powers that be did that, and these guys actually go into it. So if you want to go, I'm not going to keep bouncing in and out because I can't know exactly where it's at. But they actually allude to the fact of the powers that be and Nick Cannon speaking up against those people that this was going to be a case. But I say that I'm gonna make this short because of the fact that there's a scripture that I want to bring out that ties all that together. And this is Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. This is 31. Let me go to it. Come on, Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach. Come on. Okay, so here's the scripture. It says, this is Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus. This is 31, and this is I'm going to start at 5. He that loveth gold shall not be justified, and he that followeth corruption shall have enough thereof. Nick Cannon chose to to be in the limelight, wanted that type of life, these types of things, had a chance to see it, had a chance to decide, had a chance to step back, walk away, whatever case it might be, but he didn't. He was willing to kiss ass, apologize, and all these other kinds of things. So, how much money as a boss had he actually put up and did these types of things if he had to go and do that? Obviously, not enough, huh? 6. Gold has been the ruin of many, and their destruction was present. Money has been the ruin of many. Of course, and there's plenty of them that's done it. Wesley Snipes, here it is that this guy is a martial artist, nice with it too. But he had to put on the dress and Fu Manchu and all this other kind of shit because they was putting motherfuckers in dresses, and they put him, uh, uh, Lil Gamo or whatever his name is, the Latino cat, and Patrick Swayze in motherfucking dresses. What kind of shit is that? Okay. So the desire of wealth have been the ruin of many, and their destruction was present. It was written all over him. Wesley Snipes, when he decided he didn't want to play games anymore, or he didn't want to play that game anymore, like I said, they came at him for tax evasion, to the point that when he came back in Expendables 2 or 3, whatever one it was, what they do? What they get him for? Tax evasion. He told that himself. That what did they in a foreign country? What did they get him for? Tax evasion. Okay, so it is present. You want to do this? It's going to be your ruin, and it's going to be and the corruption in verse 5 is going to be all around you. Okay, it's going to be all around you. See, Cat told it. He actually told it, and Nick Cannon. Nick, come here. Is that who I think it is doing what I think he doing to who? That whole deal. So see, Cat told it. Nick didn't. Okay. 7. It is a stumbling block unto them that sacrifice unto it. So, that was his stumbling block. Wanting his wealth and this type of thing was his stumbling block. So when he spoke out and actually spoke some truth, it came back to bite him. Okay, and every fool shall be taken therewith, and a fool and his money is soon parted. Okay. The love of money is the root of all evil. Let me get that scripture as a matter of fact. Okay, because money is a defense if you understand it and use it as such. But if you chase money like that, where you'll do anything for it, then it becomes a stumbling block to you. And that's exactly what happened. Okay? Let me find the scripture for you. Okay, so here's the scripture that I'm going to use with this. It says, Matthew 6:24. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. And that's what happened. So Nick chose his God, and his God wasn't Yahweh. Why Yahweh shot? Simple as that. Okay? So, quick little lesson. Was Nick Cannon buck broken? Sure he was. Because that desire for that money overrode everything else that he had said or thought of. Okay? So I want to send all praises, honor, and glory out to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, Ba'Shem Kodash, to the apostles and elders of GMS out of New York. I want to send double honors because they do rule well. For the brethren around the world pushing this truth uncut, unfiltered, giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. The scriptures correctly breaking down the prophecies and interaction of people and planets and salutations. Hopefully, like that, hope that's edifying. Aqua, few and true that's listen, sincere, charity, keep doing so. But scorn and scoff for reprobate. 2/3 Israelites and 17 other nations. You're in the midst of Jacob's trouble. It's going to get a whole lot worse. And with that, a ball.